This is Razor Cuts on XFM every Sunday night between 6 and 8. From 1997, Placebo with Nancy Boy from their debut album of 96. And it gives me the great pleasure to welcome Brian Molko. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Listening back to a record that still sounds as fresh as a daisy from 1997, you really did capture something there with that, especially that first single. I remember it very well, you know, jumping out of the radio and in the clubs and everything.
Well, yeah, I hear it on the radio when I'm in the car every now and again. It still jumps out, and it still sounds harder and heavier than the track that went before it and the track after it, you know, which is usually, you know, from more contemporary. So yeah.
Any idea why it's kind of sounds like that?
It's all about the drums, man. You know, the drums are mixed really high in the mix, and they're just mixed to sound really, really hard. So I think that's what does it. You know, I have this theory that, you know, that no matter how good the rest of the musicians in the band are, if your drummer isn't top notch, then you may as well forget it.
You're not suggesting all the energy comes from the drums, are you?
Well, you know, it's the foundation of the band. It's sort of like the heartbeat. It's absolutely essential, but no, not all the energy comes from it.
Yeah.
But,
I like the theory because, you know, it fascinates me. Like some records you can hear, you know, years and years down the line, and they don't seem to lose anything, and yet some, you know, records, acts, bands, whatever, seem to fall away. Some things seem to retain an energy that doesn't seem to fade away.
I guess that's proof of actually putting yourself on acetate, putting yourself in the song, you know, really, really being there and being close and connected to what you're doing.
That was going to be, when you listen to that and the energy and the exuberance of a band, you know, in its early stage. Can you hear that? You know, when you hear that record, you can hear a band at the beginning.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you know, and we were still reeling sort of at the idea of that somebody had actually given us a record deal. We couldn't believe it. You know, we're like, oh, we're going to get found out. You know, pretty soon. So let's record as much as possible, and let's you know, make it as energetic as possible. You know, we felt a little like we were kind of, you know, sneaking in under the radar a little bit. When are they going to work it out? That, you know.
I think most people in any career feel like that at the beginning. Anyway, you think, I've arrived. Nobody's spotted it yet. But now we talk some 12, 13 years on, and the sixth album. That's a quantum leap when you talk about, you know, 96, 97, and here we are in 2009 talking about your sixth album. A lot of water gone under the bridge there, Brian.
Well, certainly, you know, but our main motivation for starting the band was this desire never, ever, ever to get a proper job. And I'd say that was our prime motivation. 10, 15 years down the line, we're probably less employable than we were then, you know, because this is all that we've done for the past 15 years. So it's important for us to keep it going, because otherwise, you know, what would we do? I mean, I can't even drive. I'm not very computer literate, you know. Don't drink, so I wouldn't be a good barman, taxi man, or IT guy, you know, so that's pretty much it.
What about an artist of some description?
Well, I am an artist of some description.
I'm talking on canvas. Are you an artist on canvas?
I'm not very good at drawing or painting or anything like that, but, you know, I do I'm a bit of an amateur photographer, but...
There you go. Yeah. There's the alternative career.
Well, Bryan Adams reinvented himself, didn't he, as a sort of...
He needed to, though, didn't he?
A society photographer. Well, yeah, there's only so many years that you can stretch that one melody,
I have to say I prefer his pictures to his, you know, his canon of work, but anyway...
Dare I say it, they're actually quite good.
Battle for the Sun, then, the current album, we've chosen a track. We're going to play the new single in a moment. Speaking Tongues is a track that stands out for you on the album.
Yeah, for me, well, first of all, it's the journey that the track goes on. It sort of starts off sounding sonically a little bit like Cocktail Hour at the Lunatic Asylum, you know? And then kind of it has a sort of a transitional period, a kind of a choral little section in the middle, and then it just breaks into this big anthemic, optimistic stadium epic track, really. So I really enjoy the journey it takes and the transitions.
Okay, let's listen to this then from the album, the sixth album by Placebo, Battle for the Sun. This is Speaking Tongues. This is Razor Cuts on XFM from the album Battle for the Sun. Speaking Tongues, we're with Brian Molko. So you're talking about optimism there. Is that how you generally feel? Is that the state of affairs, the current affairs of Placebo? You're in an optimistic place?
Well, relatively so. I mean, it's in Placebo world, everything is relative. And certainly comparison to where we were sort of emotionally and as a band when we were making Battle for the Sun's predecessor, which was called Meds. Yes, we are most definitely much more hopeful for
had a roller coaster of a ride, as a band and as a person, and now is it like sort of looking down on the work of Placebo, or looking along it, looking on the top of a mountain, looking down? How do you view it, looking back?
Well, I kind of actually I see it. I kind of see it the other way. I see it sort of looking up the mountain. I see it as
still a mountain to climb.
It's. I feel that we're probably in some kind of transitional phase. That this is, a new beginning, a renaissance
right.
for the band.
And when you say transition, have you any idea where the next record might go? Then, if you're thinking about you're in sort of some period of change.
Well, I think the process of getting a new drummer in the band and making this album was that transitional period. We're a lot more solid today and are beginning to make plans for the future. I can't really say what kind of style that the new record's gonna take, because it all basically, first of all, it depends on the songs, and second of all, what we have a tendency to do is react against, when we're making a new album, is to react against its predecessor and try and do something different. So on Battle for the Sun, we tried to sort of create a timeless record that utilized instrumentation which we consider to be timeless, i.e. strings and horns and less electronica. Where it's going to take us next time, I'm not sure.
And how does, when you view the music industry and the change you've seen within, 15 years of making music, whatever, it still doesn't sit well with Placebo, the music business, does it?
Well, no, but I guess, I look to bands like The Cure and I look to bands like Depeche Mode, as inspiration. They're bands that, have gotten used to being unfashionable pretty early on in their careers and just, followed their own singular vision all the way through their career, stuck to their guns, ignored trends and movements that are created by journalists and magazines, and just, stayed true to themselves and did what they do best. And I kind of, I hope that, that we're very similar in that way. And I think that's how you achieve longevity in this business. And I would like to have as long a career as these two of my favourite bands.
Yeah, well, the two fine examples of The Cure and Depeche Mode that, as you say, have been around a long, long time. And I don't know how many albums those two bands have made between them, but I dare say you may have one or two albums to make before you catch up. But
I think I've got about another 45. If I'm going to top both of them combined,
so, are you saying you're in it for the long haul then?
Yeah. I can't really see.
Because you can't do anything else, or maybe you could take a few pictures. But you do see the 10th album and maybe the 12th.
Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't stop before the 10th. Right. It's a nice round number.
So let's hear about your thoughts about the new single, the Never Ending Why, which is now released on September the 14th. Another track from the album. How relevant is a single this day and age, Brian, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it's as relevant as your video is, I think, these days. I don't really follow the charts. And,
I don't think anybody does like we used to, though. But
No, I guess since Top of the Pops went, it's, which, I'm very, very sad about.
It could return one day, you never know.
It was such a constant in your life, wasn't it? No matter what happened, you knew that you could turn the TV on on that day, at that time, and have Top of the Pops.
But how many appearances have you made on Top of the Pops? You must have been double figures.
Maybe about 4 or 5 in this country, and a few other ones in other countries as well.
Maybe we should start a campaign to bring it back in the UK, because it's shown all over the world, apart from the place where it was invented.
Yeah, and why not? I don't think there's enough music on TV, and when it is on TV, it's way too late. And let's start a campaign to bring more music back on the telly.
Brian Molko, you can start the campaign right here, right now. The Never Ending Why is the new single, released on September the 14th from your 6th album. Who'd have thought? Battle for the Sun. Brian, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good day.